Well, good morning to all those brave souls who managed to get here at 9:30 in the morning. For the benefit of those who couldn't make it, of course, we are broadcasting on Channel 12 right now, and the recording will be played back tonight just after the town hall recording is played back at 8 o'clock. This is the report that we want to make to you about the opinion survey we took. And yes, please. We have a slide changer in part of our team here today, Eric Cousins, so I may have to go to remind him to change the slide. Throw something at him, he says. Okay. Here is the survey that all of you had in your box. And I want to make one comment before we get into discussing the survey itself and its results. Someone wrote in the margin of their survey as they returned it, "Why are you asking all these questions anyway?" Rather nervous, peevish answer. And I don't, if they were questions that we were asking, I could understand that, but they aren't questions. They are opinions. The Finance Committee held a forum in June at which the committee and several residents who heard about it or were invited came to voice their opinions on what the Finance Committee could suggest, perhaps, to the council to carry forward to Tim when he consulted the council about the budget, the annual budget. They got some discussion of the budget, but the discussion ranged far and wide. And they made notes of the opinions that were voiced at that time, and from that grew the desire to find out how many people agreed with those opinions that were voiced and how many people disagreed with those. We've always wanted to know as a council how best to represent you. And it's only possible to represent you if we really know what you think about things. So we sent out the survey very bravely. 199 forms were distributed. 122 to those who live alone, 76 to those who share a unit, and of course, forms to everyone in the care center, plus one to our friend in in assisted living, one to the care center, to our friend there, Jean Locke, who is their council president and who comes to all our meetings and contributes very well to those. So we thought he should have a chance to voice his opinion as well. So there were 199 forms altogether. 33 and 7.7% did not return their forms, but 66.3% returned their forms. 132 forms, that's very good for any group like this to return. And we were very proud of you. Now we've rendered the results in percentages. If you can see that's a positive. That's an agreement. Strong agreement, mild agreement. Then down at the far end, the green is mild disagreement and strong disagreement with the opinion cited. The gray area in the middle is where you marked a 3, neither agree nor disagree. And the white area, which is also a neutral opinion, is no opinion at all, whether because the person didn't know an answer or didn't care to answer is not clear, but at any rate, this is a good example of a very strong opinion. CBTS is clean and well kept, and 45% strongly agreed, and altogether, about 86 or 87% of you said yes. I think CBTS has a right to be proud of that result. Only very few disagreed altogether. Under CBS is well maintained and repairs are made promptly, efficiently, and effectively. I think Pete Dime can take a pat on the back, but now that is over 70% positive. Agree strongly or just agree, but most people now think that that is the case. Remember, these are not facts we're dealing with, these are opinions. So here we have some people who are dissatisfied and unhappy, but look at the strength of that opinion. Then on one of the questions, one of the opinions that is near and dear to my heart, the new lobby makes Carlsbad by the Sea more attractive. 40% said, yes, it does. 42% said, no, it doesn't. A little over, say about 12%, 13% said, no opinion one way or the other. And I have no opinion on that, about 3%. So there's one that's just about evenly balanced. Are you surprised to find out that not everybody agrees with you? I was terribly surprised. I never thought you all agreed with me, but this proved it. On quality and level of services, again, we have a very strong positive response. Because if they agree with the opinion, which we tried to state positively, that is something CBTS can be proud of. And this is food service is luxury quality. Well, look, 67% said yes, and no was only, well, 18%. That's a percentage to concern yourself with, but this is a percentage to be proud of. Right in the middle, 10, 14% perhaps, and only 1 or 2% said they had no opinion on the food whatsoever. Don't you eat here, whoever you are? One of the problems with this question was the way it was asked, and we concede that we were hardly perfect in our wording of the questions. I keep calling them questions, I mean opinions, excuse me. We tried to rephrase negative opinions as positives so that we couldn't be accused of trying to skew things. We chose the word luxury out of the original brochures advertising Carlsbad by the Sea as having a luxury food service. Luxury confused some people who were answering, or so they had told me, answering the survey. They didn't know what the word luxury meant in our survey. Well, we didn't know what it meant on the brochures either, but we borrowed the word from Lee Rava's original wording. Perhaps we should have said superior quality. Perhaps we should have said the food here is superior to other retirement communities or something of that sort. But you were stuck with this wording and you gave me a strong positive response. Carlsbad by the Sea has the area's highest quality nursing care. Again, this, you'll notice, has a very strong I don't know. That's 25% say they don't have a clue. They have no opinion. And about 12% in the middle. But still, the overwhelming majority think that is probably true. 52% perhaps. Carlsbad is a green community committed to the environment and sustainability. Again, 46% positive and only 15% negative. Again, a strong neutral. I don't know, I don't care, and one way or the other. The care center is home-like and welcoming. Here we got a little stronger negatives. 22% said no. 38% said yes. And there are a large number who haven't had any contact with the care center whatsoever, apparently. They haven't been there as a patient, they haven't visited any friends in the care center, they don't know. Or they feel neutral about it. Again, part of the problem is in the wording. Carlsbad by the Sea Care Center is home-like and welcoming in its staff, perhaps, and not in its physical appointments, perhaps. And therefore, they land in the middle. I don't know the reason for that. We didn't ask you why you felt the way you felt. We just wanted to know what you felt. Your personal perceptions, very strong to recommend Carlsbad by the Sea for people who are still vigorous and healthy. Well, over 65% say they would recommend. And this is a huge, strong positive. 55%. Very small negative. I don't know. I have no opinion whatsoever. Just on or just over 5%. Interesting. Perhaps for people who are still vigorous and healthy is what stopped people from answering one way or the other. Perhaps we should have said, I would recommend Carlsbad by the Sea for friends of mine. That's what the national survey that we take, called the Resident Satisfaction Survey, says. I think we worded things a lot better than that survey does, for the most part. But this is one place, perhaps, where we could have refined our statement a little bit. I am more fit than other residents baffled you. Somebody wrote in the margin of that, all I'm doing is getting older since I got here. What do you mean I'm more fit? But on the whole, 42% said yes, and only 20% said no, with a neutral area. In other words, all of you are more fit than your neighbors. It's like, as somebody said, Lake Wobegon, where all the children are above average. I feel stronger and more effective since moving to Carlsbad by the Sea. This is the one that really baffled you. What does that mean? And that getting older comment was actually closer to this than to this. All I'm doing is getting older. But stronger and more effective could mean, of course, that you are protected in the environment here. If you fall and lie helpless on your bathroom floor, you could possibly reach that alarm pendant and get help. So that would be empowering. That would allow you more freedom, more personal freedom. You have transportation to get places if you've had to give up your car. Those things would make you feel more effective. Less effective? Well, that's where the I'm just getting older comes in, I guess. There is a strong neutral area in here, 10, 20, 30, 35%. The largest number were in the middle on that. This one is worded backward, and so we put it in a different color scheme. Ordinarily, if you saw the heavy blue, strong agreement, that was something that Carlsbad by the Sea could be very pleased with and very proud of. If you saw a strong green, that was something that probably needed some thought or some attention. Here, just because of the way the opinions came out, we worded them pretty much backward. In other words, I would feel more secure if California Lutheran Homes were still in charge. Heavy agreement, 40, almost 50% agreement, is something I think that requires some thought and perhaps some, I don't know, remedial action or education or whatever you want to say. But some people felt very strongly about California Lutheran Homes. I agree. Disagree. But look at the number who have no opinion. It would have helped if we'd known how long people had lived here. Those who came in 1998 and 99 had contact with California Lutheran Homes. But after that, we belonged to the corporation now known as Front Porch, and not to California Lutheran Homes at all. And so many people who live here now, but were not here 10 years ago, don't know California Lutheran Homes from a hole in the ground. And that may account for the large no opinion segment here. I fear that I may outlive my assets. Well, as you might expect, in this perilous time, economically speaking, 35% have that concern. It's a very strong concern, and something to be addressed and worried about. 35%, however, disagreed. It's about 35. Those who agree with, but they fear they may outlive their assets. Those who do not have that concern. But if a third of us go broke, that's something to worry about. So that is something to think about. Now we're back to the positive statements again. This is a matter, look at the strong neutrals on each of these. Either neutral opinion or no opinion. The first one is Carlsbad by the Sea subsidizes other communities that are less affluent. 38% think that may be so. Disagreement, maybe 13%. But the lion's share of the answers are either neutral or no opinion. I suppose it depends on what you mean by communities less affluent. Whether you're thinking of the low-cost housing that the Front Porch Corporation manages in Louisiana and northern Florida. They are indeed less affluent communities. Or whether you're thinking perhaps that Carlsbad by the Sea is paying the way for Claremont Manor. That was an opinion I heard somebody cite once here in the lobby, but it depends on what you mean by that. But again, that is the perception. Strong, I don't know, or one way or the other. I'm glad that Front Porch absorbs most costs to support California Lutheran Homes Foundation. Ooh, now this is a big, I don't know, 10, 20, 25, 30%. No opinion. 10, 20, 24%. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. Yes, no. Maybe so, maybe not. Agreement, 30%. Disagreement, 12% maybe. Did you know that? Did you know that our corporation, the Front Porch, with our money of course, actually subsidizes the Lutheran Homes Foundation, the Pacific Teachers Foundation, and the Pacific Homes, thank you, Pacific Homes Foundation. The three foundations which do so much good and charitable work here, but their offices and their executives are supported by us through the Front Porch. Maybe you didn't know that. Front Porch operates on nonprofit principles. Interesting. Almost 35% of you say yes, you think it does. But about 24% say, I don't think so. Again, though, strong neutral. I don't know. I don't care. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Somewhat agree. Maybe. Responsiveness to residents is something very important. We all think so. Management thinks so. We think so. Communication with residents is a management priority at Carlsbad by the Sea. Well, 45% of you say yes. That's a strong positive. There is a strong group who feel the other way, however. That's, gee whiz, that's 36%. 36% do not agree. Much smaller neutral area there.
This is a tricky one. I'm able to influence decisions that affect my life at Carlsbad by the Sea. 38%, 37% say yes, they can, but 30% feel no. Now, I think that's an area that needs to be addressed. Why do they feel they can't affect the decisions that govern their lives? What makes them feel that way? I want to find out. Management listens to my ideas and responds effectively. 35% say yes, 36% say no, and there's your central group. Again, it's about evenly divided, but not a strong opinion here, a little stronger there. Management listens to my ideas and responds effectively. And again, what do you mean by that? If you're thinking back to the old days when you used to ask maintenance to fix your drains, and it took them 4 days to get there to unstop your toilet, maybe that belongs right there. I don't know. That doesn't happen anymore, I hope. Okay, and costs and fees. This is a very sensitive area for a number of you. A number of you care about this very strongly. You see, there's not a big cost commitments made before I moved in have been kept. Again, I think it matters when you moved in. 40-something% say yes, but 35% say no. There's a big discrepancy, by the way, on what people were told before they moved in and on what some contracts say. So that would help that to vary from one person to another. It's fair to have the same monthly fee increase for all front porch communities. Well, 26% say yes, it is, sure. But 10, 20, 30, 36% say no, it isn't. It ought to vary. We didn't ask any questions about the opinion. We didn't say vary, how would you vary it? But that's an interesting point. Of course, a number of people have no opinion whatsoever on that. Front porch in Carlsbad by the Sea keep executive staff to the minimum needed. I heard him laugh. 26% say yeah, sure they do. But 30% say no, they don't. Then that leaves about 50% in the middle. Either, maybe yes, maybe no, or I don't know. Front porch is open and transparent concerning financial operations and management. This is the tough one. This is a tough one. This is where the hackles rise. Yes, somebody out here said, oh, raised hackles. And yes, indeed. 15% say yes, they are open and transparent. But over 50% say no, they are not. Of course, there's still 16-17% who say, I have no opinion whatsoever. And there's still 15% who say, maybe yes, maybe no. But that's a strong area of disagreement with the stated opinion and should require attention. Carlsbad by the Sea is managed at the lowest feasible cost. You're going to be interested in the latest variance report, which is available to you to see, which shows that Carlsbad by the Sea came in just barely under budget, but right at the projected budget. So it's interesting to me that the opinion is that they don't operate at the lowest feasible cost. That's 47% say no. And 33% say yes. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I threw in the wrong thing there. That's 16% say yes. This is the neutral area in here, no opinion or one way or the other. I think perhaps we need some input from you on what you think could be our cost saving around here. What could be done better? Specific ideas, folks. We also sorted in a different way. We put together some different bar graphs to show you, give you a look at the opinions. And in general, as it says, local matters were viewed very favorably. People like Carlsbad by the Sea in general. The warmth of their positive response varies, but they like it here, and they think we are well served by and large. Here are some items that should cause concern and have the least favorable opinions. Unfavorable is the green. Non-committal, that is either neutral or no opinion, is the gray. And the blue is the favorable opinion. Carlsbad by the Sea is managed at the lowest feasible cost. I would feel more secure if California Lutheran Homes were still in charge, and Front Porch is open and transparent. These got the biggest negatives.
Only 50%.
The biggest positives. When Carlsbad by the Sea is clean and well kept, Carlsbad by the Sea is well maintained, and repairs are made promptly, effectively, and efficiently. I would recommend Carlsbad by the Sea for people who are still vigorous and healthy, and the food service is luxury quality, despite the unfortunate choice of the word luxury. These are the four strongest areas. They're all local. They are all ours in Carlsbad by the Sea, as opposed to Front Porch. Okay, this is interesting. I think residents living alone were less likely to respond. 62% of our surveys went to people living alone, 38% to couples. But 47% of our returns were from couples, and 52% of our returns were from those who live alone. So we had a stronger response from people living with someone than living alone. I'm not sure why. The demographic data here is interesting. Here's our age range. 125 of 132 respondents provided data on their age. 7 people said, "You're not going to find out how old I am. Maybe you can figure out my handwriting, so I'm not going to tell you." But 80 to 84 is your, and 85 to 89, and 94. These are the 3 strongest areas, 80 to 95. Very few in here, and I don't believe that person. I don't think we have anybody over 100 here at the moment, do we? Not answering the survey.
Maybe they feel that way.
Just to, yeah, oh, does somebody say, "Oh, we feel that way"? Okay. Nobody in the 60 to 64 range, but 65 to 69. Okay. This is interesting. Age does make a difference in how you perceive things. Interestingly enough, the redecoration of our lobby, we were told by an executive, was not to be useful and appealing to us, the present residents, but to attract the younger people who might be coming in, to be a sales point with younger people. But look at how our residents responded. The younger they were, the less they liked it. The older they were, the more they liked it. So something went wrong in the calculation. The age made a difference too. If you see, I would feel more secure if California Lutheran Homes were still in charge. Over 90, yes. Interestingly enough, 75. Less than 75, yes. And no negatives at all in the over 90 group. But the difference is not as surprising or as large as it was on the other. Final thoughts are yours and not mine. I think. We have someone here who's willing to record opinions and comments, and we will pass them on to management. We will make them the subject of an additional survey in time to come, because heaven knows we didn't anything like cover the full range of opinions that are possible. For example, there are no opinions on transportation here, the transportation provided. I think generally that's fairly positive, but that's just what I think, and you saw, or at least you heard me say, you all didn't agree with me 100%. Shame on you. We didn't have any opinions on activities. There are plenty of areas that we could gather your opinions on and form an additional survey. Anybody have any ideas, any comments, any questions? Yes.
I
Martha.
think we could save some money on air conditioning now. I have been very happy until the last, I don't know whether it's a week or 2 weeks or so, but I am ready to go down and get out some of my winter things.
Martha Foster says that since the air conditioning was repaired, it's been frigid here. To paraphrase her comments,
Yes.
she's going down to the storage and get out her winter garments in August. It is just freezing. Now, they did make some adjustments in this room. It was very, very cold when we first came in, and of course it's warmed up just a little bit now. And they've taken the air vent and pointed it up so that the people in the back row no longer are having their hair blown forward as they were in all last week. Okay, Martha thinks that would be a cost saving. Yes, yes, Jerry?
With whom is this shared? Does this go to, I mean, when you say management?
Okay, this is going to be shared with anybody who's interested in management, and both Roberta Jacobson, our president, thank you. Both Roberta Jacobson, our president, and Tim Wetzel, our executive director, have asked for copies, and Tim wants to go over it at some length with your comments, if you make any, with me, and any suggestions that you may have. It is available in its totality on our website, cbtsresidence.com, and you can find it there in all its glorious color. And you can print it out for yourself. It was just prohibitive for us to print out color copies to pass out. And as you can guess, in black and white, it simply smears, and it's not very effective. But it is available. Yes, Don?
What's the name of the site again?
What's the name of the site again? CBTSresidence.com. Is it residence plural with an S?
Yes.
Yes, it is residence plural with an S. CBTSresidence.com. Yes.
Not at all sure it fits in here, but I'm with her. Not only is it getting better in this room, but I think they should ask us occasionally for opinions on things, even if they throw them out, such as how to save money, turn off those little lights in the lobby. I mean, I went downstairs at 5 o'clock in the morning and found the multipurpose room lights on, the hall lights on, and I've talked to the powers that be, and the powers that be have allowed me to turn off half the lights in the hall.
Okay. The comment is that we could save some money we could improve things around here in general if when we made a comment, if they didn't even bother to wait until we made the comment, but asked us what we thought about various things from time to time. As for example, and Madeline Campillo brought this up, saving money, suggestions for saving money, and her suggestion was turn off some of the extra lights, especially at night when the lights are not needed, and when they've been found lighting up the multi-purpose room and the gym and the billiard room and and so on, and they need to be turned off at night, as do the lights in storerooms, by the way. We have a storeroom near our apartment which is locked, and we can't get at it, but the lights are on day and night in that storeroom. There's no excuse for that. And little lights in the lobby, little decorative lights, which I don't care if they're only 2-watt bulbs, they're still burning money, and electricity is very dear. And that, any comments or additions to that? All right, anything else? You sitting there looking. Yes.
As I understand it, you wouldn't have this lovely facility if it had not been a corporation. It renamed the California Lutheran Homes. I mean, that was nice in the old days, but they couldn't have done this. It was a multi-million-dollar project. And so I don't know that that's clearly understood by the residents.
We have a defense here of the transfer from California Lutheran Homes to the corporation, whatever its name. It was internext first, and then it became the Front Porch. And Jane Gerhardt said, I'm not sure that the residents understand that in order to get the loan and to float this project, the refurbishment, the rebuilding of Carlsbad by the Sea, we needed the corporation. And indeed, we probably continue to need them. We need them, for example, for multiple buying, to get group rates on things we buy. We have a lot more power as an 11 community organization than as a single isolated community. And as you may know, Mary Beth has pointed out to me, and is just about to point out again, some isolated communities, standalone communities, are going under. Mary Beth?
I would like to be sure that people know what is the fact. California Lutheran Homes did completely, without being part of the corporation, get the financing. They worked with the city of Carlsbad to get the financing for the rebuilding here. But they were fully mortgaged up to their hilt. They had no debt available to them for future provision. They're coming together with Pacific Homes, and then later the teachers group made them available for additional financing for those properties and eventually Walnut Village refinancing. That has been the strength of having the larger corporation. When I watched this and saw people would like it to have been, I'm sure nobody has looked at the audit of California Lutheran Homes at the time we opened, partly because there wasn't one available. It took me 1.5 years to get one after this facility was opened, because they were in such dire financial straits. So I think we need to be factual when we have information.
Thank you. Mary Beth says, for those of you who are on television and couldn't hear all of the comments, that as a standalone community, part of California Lutheran Homes, we did have the money to build this facility, but we were in hock up to our ears. We had floated the initial loan, but we had no reserve money for additional projects, for refurbishing. For example, painting all the metalwork down by the ocean front, which has happened repeatedly because it wears off within 1 year or 2 years. And we just didn't have the finances to keep up the place. And that as a member of the Front Porch, or any corporation, but in our case, the Front Porch, we have a lot more financial strength. The audits were not available in the old days because nobody wanted to show off how badly off they were, Mary Beth says, but now the audits are available. And if you haven't seen the audit for this last year, along with the management report, they are in hard copy in our library, number 1, and they are available on the Front Porch website, number 2, if you have a computer or access to a computer. And Mary Beth says, and she's right, get the facts. Get the facts. Inform yourself. All right. Additional comments? Questions? things you'd like to see on a different survey, if we ever do one again. It's a lot of work, and I want to especially thank the committee, Pete Armstrong, Doug Ritchie, Jack Cumming, who formed with me an ad hoc committee to actually treat the questions, distribute the questionnaires, I keep calling them questions, the opinions, and the opinionaire, and then we enlarged our team just today to add Eric Cousins to change the slides when I needed them changed, because there is no remote control for the projector. Any other questions? Yes, Martha.
Just a comment. I think our activities here are so great that should be a part of a survey.
Martha says she loves the activities here and she'd like to see them made part of our next survey. That would give a big positive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In Martha's opinion, that would be a big positive.
We did provide a survey for the activity committee.
The activities
We got
committee,
a very decent reply.
as Jim Sharp says, they got a pretty good reply on the activities committee's own survey, which they circulated, which was, shall we keep this, shall we do away with this sort of survey, and do you have any additional suggestions for activities that we're not doing now? Yes,
I
Jim?
might also suggest there are forms over here. If you have an idea for an activity, please fill out the report and give it to Kathy. Kathy is the one in charge. We only suggest.
Okay, Jim reminds us that there are forms available on the sign-up desk or near there that you can make out for suggested activities. Those go to Kathy Miller, who is the activities director. It is the function of our activities committee to suggest activities to her, and she will research them and find out if they're available to us and either put them on or not, depending on whether we can afford them, etc. Other questions? Other comments? Gee, you're quiet, David. Yes,
I think
Jim.
you did a great job.
Well,
Okay.
thank you. I wish I could take the credit for it. I didn't do it. It was a team effort, including the council, the entire council, threw their weight behind this. The council has had this data now for nearly 2 weeks and have sort of kept it quiet so that we wouldn't spoil the surprise. But, and thank you for coming out so early. I want especially to thank those people who never get up and get out by 9:30. There are at least 2 or 3 of them here in the audience right now, and I think they deserve special credit. That applause is for you. I'm wide open now, as long as we have a couple of minutes to other comments. I was hoping that we'd have some wildly controversial opinions stated here, so we could put it together and make a meeting, a forum, an opinionaire about it. But rather than being controversial, you're all sitting there smiling. Is it the hour?
Let's discuss governmental health.
What?
Let's discuss governmental health. That'll bring on some.
The only way to get a rise out of this crowd, Mrs. Campillo says, is to discuss Obama's health plan. And then we'll have some swinging fists. Thank you so much for your attendance. That completes the meeting.